Alright, this video I want to talk about narcissistic family systems, whether it's one or in the fortunate event of having both parents being sociopathic, narcissistic, cluster B, whatever you want to call it. Let's just say toxic, but, toxic narcissism, alright? Selfishness, self-aggrandizing, delusional, and just immature behavior, and how that pertains depending on how toxic and chaotic the childhood was you had, which I imagine is definitely going to be chaotic if you had two narcissistic parents. That is a recipe for disaster. And how that pertains, that kind of upbringing or how it will affect you in your romantic life, and specifically from the perspective of a man, how women, as they often they choose you will, depending on that euphoric love bombing stage, it will be very hard to say no to. And this is a video basically just for anyone who has dealt with that and or is just coming across this video, and maybe it'll be a preemptive measure for you. But I could tell you that, again, as a man, and being in a position where, it is freaking powerful. I used to think it was, you choose, you're choosing who you date, and if they're attractive and there's chemistry, it's just an innately good thing. And boy, has my world been turned upside down. Hopefully the AC wasn't messing things up. My last partner, chose me, wrote down a number, met her at a bar, and that was it. It was pure euphoria, pure love bombing, pure, literally the best time I ever had in my life, and ended in absolute hell. And I'm still just getting through it. It's been a little over a year-ish. But this video is about how we, as men, it's the same thing for women too, but as men, and especially in this society where narcissism is ever present, narcissistic, not just NPD, which my understanding, NPD being more or less incurable. It is deep, complete awareness, and it starts to show more like psychopathy, or pretty incurable. But narcissistic trait in this country and in Western culture has exploded. There's a lot of delusion, there's a lot of selfishness and just toxic behavior, both men and women. But I think right now we're in a situation where it's very important to protect yourself as a man against just these women that can absolutely destroy your life. And if you grew up with a toxic family system, and you'll be in society, and you'll be in a situation over enough period of time, you're gonna run into these women, and they're gonna, the more attractive, the stronger, the harder it is to see it. It plays on your ego as a man. It's strong, and it can hurt really, really bad, let me tell you. So, and I guess another piece to that, something I want to express is, you have the trauma bond, through a toxic family system, and that's going to, express through your romantic relationships. But even more than that, codependency as a notion, it kind of makes it all the more difficult to deny something like that. For example, if you have trouble being alone, you have trouble being, alone with your thoughts, and you've always had a relationship, you're gonna have a very difficult time saying no, and even more importantly, you do tend to get out of the relationship before the the discard and all the toxic stuff, how narcissistic relationships end. You could just get right back into another one. It's very hard to be alone, I'm learning, and be alone and be okay with yourself. Because if you're anything like me, and depending on how you're attracting the narcissist, whether it's you are the the one with the NPD, the one that's like essentially incurable. I guess it'd be called overt narcissism versus subvert. In my case, I'm more subvert, and I tend to be the rescuer and try and change, the person. I'm essentially, for lack of a better term, coming from the more virtuous perspective, but still, it takes two to tango type thing. So here I am with this all over the place. Hopefully this video makes some kind of sense. You can connect the dots, but back to codependency, it's going to be another variable to break, and it's very difficult to be alone with yourself as a subvert narcissist. It's something that I still struggle with. I basically lost everything with my last relationship and family and everything. I can see clearly finally, and I literally rather be alone than ever feel like that again. I lost everything, and it's better. It's better to slow your life down and to figure out what is going on, and it's going to happen eventually. And the older you get, the worse, like most things, the worse it can be. There's not a lot of road left. It's hard to change, and I'm grateful that it happened to me so early. So yeah, codependency, narcissistic family systems, narcissistic relationships, all this shit is God, it's a lot of fun. It's euphoria. I learned a lot. I even thought during, at the time, you can kind of, I was at least emotionally intelligent enough to know that this is like what, kind of what's going on. I knew it was crazy and shit, and I often would conflate, crazy fun with virtue and good, and but it's really just distraction. You're distracting yourself. At the end of the day, you're distracting yourself from yourself. You need to do the work. It's gonna, or don't, but it's gonna be a very hard life. It's gonna be, you're gonna just keep repeating the same patterns, and that would be my advice to anyone watching this, is if you're in that toxic relationship and you can get out, take the time to do the work. YouTube has been paramount. Between psych wards, rehabs, these are just people with ideas talking to you at the end of the day, and to the extent that they have rapport and are listening and are, they care about you, which is, at the end of the day, any professional really can't do that. They can be a professional and be neutral. That's their the pros of being in that situation. But YouTube, for me personally, I spent a year researching, understanding these concepts, and that has been the most, I'd say 80-90% of all the forward momentum and the health and the just the growth and the healing has come from understanding that it's not my fault. Or not just my fault. I'm not crazy, I guess is a better way to say it. It's partially my fault, but I'm not crazy, and that's square one for me. And so, again, you do the research, watch videos like this that are, I'm just starting off with this stuff, so there's a lot of good content out there. People, the beauty of YouTube is, these personalities that are into psychology are often people that have been hurt deeply and just want to help. Like, genuinely, this is therapy for me. And there's nothing to gain from lying or BSing. It's people, you know, you're putting yourself out there, and that's the beauty of YouTube is the word is authenticity is the best part about YouTube when it comes to psychology. That people aren't going to lie to you. I mean, and you can deduce what people are talking about, male, female, different perspectives of narcissism, how they look at it. So anyway, the point is, do the work. Don't jump into another relationship as much as it hurts. And I think it was a blessing in disguise that, you know, I had a lot of success with women, you know, had, you know, this beautiful girls, fucking, but toxic. And after getting out of my last relationship, there's nothing, like, and that's a blessing to me, is I'm forced to work on myself. And I tried to get into relationships. There's so much delusional women. Just my experience is this feminism has gotten so crazy that it's forcing me to stay single. Like, I'm not gonna settle for, I mean, the closest I got was someone who was 4 times worse than my last girlfriend. It was like unbelievably toxic. Like, it could not pick a more toxic person, and obviously I was putting that out there, you know, and it was close. I could have ruined my life, absolutely ruined my life. And yeah, so that's basically the super convoluted video I make. Narcissistic family systems, how they affect you in your dating life, and how essentially I'm learning that boring is good. Boring is what you want. You want to slow your life down. You want to pick someone who is maybe, you know, they're exciting in other ways. They don't have to be crazy fun, crazy, euphoric, love bomb, super crazy stuff, like all that stuff that, you know, at the end of the day, and it is a choice. You can do that for a while. It's just, I don't believe it's love. It's not going to end well. You're going to be hurt. Someone's going to be discarded. And it will keep repeating to the extent that you're unaware of it or unwilling to look at, for me, I would say, and for most people, to look at your family, really look at where does this come from, and do the work, and understand that these are systems thinking in the narcissistic family system. And it's really, really hard to say goodbye to family if they are really hurting you, and you know, even harder sometimes a lover. You know, it's just, I don't know, that I guess I can end the video here, but I just wanted to, yeah, again, wing it on this notion of basically trauma bonding, narcissistic family systems, and how to manifest into a toxic, you're basically repeating the cycle. And for me personally, in my whole life, I've believed that kids are, I've talked about my whole life, is kids are everything, and how important it is for me not to repeat the cycle. That's a topic for another video, but I was taught a big lesson here through my story with this shit. And yeah, I just want to, if you're still watching this, just say you're not alone. And I don't know if you want to comment or have a question. I'm just starting this YouTube channel, and I'm trying to get better every day. But I'm very passionate about this topic, and very interested in what people would suggest or want me to change, and a topic maybe for next time. But I'm trying to do these every day. Have a good one, guys. Take care.